it's wrong. I can tell you do. How can I explain? You don't want me to. Key, my only key, looks so small, you've gone so quiet.
Jennifer Bice from Redwood Hill Farm and Creamery, and our business started when I was a child in 4-H, and my parents moved us in the 60s to Sonoma County in the country, and we all raised animals and goats for 4-H, and became quite attached to them because goats are really like dogs, having a wonderful personality but then giving the milk. So we raised them in 4-H. We actually had a few of all the different animals, but the goats quickly became us kids' favorite because of their personalities and the fact they could learn tricks, and we could dress them up, etc. Cheese is done in the artisanal methods, which means traditional methods, a lot of hand done, less mechanization. And currently we are still making cheese. We make about 5 different varieties. The fresh chef, of course, that is so common and what many people in the U.S. consider to be goat cheese. But in addition to that, we do 3 French-style rind-ripened varieties. Camellia, which is a Camembert style, the California Croton, which is like a French Croton, and then a Boucherie, which is a mold-ripened cheese.
The fresh cheeses are rather nice because you make them today and 15 days later you sell them. Whereas the dry types, at least 5 months, 7 months, 9 months, and there's some behind you for 3.5 years.
Today we're making our Redwood Hill Farm raw milk feta. So we put the milk in this tank. This is about 900 gallons. And the first step is adding the culture, or the beneficial bacteria. And the culture, in addition to giving the cheese flavor, it takes the lactose in the milk and it changes it to lactic acid. After about an hour after adding the beneficial cultures and letting it ferment in the warm milk, we add the rennet, or the vegetable enzyme in this case, and that will cause the milk to coagulate. So this is what we call the curd cutter, and you can see these little wires here, and we're going to pass this back and through the vat, which you'll see later, and this is going to cut the gel coagulant mass of milk into small squares. And by cutting it into those squares, it allows the curd to then release the liquid, which is the whey. There are 300 or 400 varieties of cheese in the world today, but really cheese is composed of 3 to 5 ingredients. And so it's really what you do as far as which cultures you add, how much rennet or vegetable enzyme you add or don't add, what temperature you cook the milk to. And once we drain the whey and pile the curds to the side of the vat, then we're going to start stacking the curds in these square stainless steel molds. The curds will be packed in here and then left to drain overnight. And you can see this square mold. The next day when we come back, we will have a solid block of cheese in the shape of the mold.
Curing process, which we use on the dry Monterey, and with a different formulation for the outside on the mezzo and the Rumanello, is oil, pepper, and cocoa. And the whole idea is that if you don't put something on the outside of your dried cheeses, plural, they crack. And then the mold gets in and it's very difficult to have them be saleable and palatable. So a long time ago, the Italian cheesemakers began to use oil and pepper, and the pepper was to keep the oil in suspension so it did not penetrate the cheese rind.
It's more traditional to make certain cheeses, such as hard aged cheeses with sheep milk. It's more traditional to make little delicate, soft, small cheeses with goat milk, and then the variety with